Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Amrita Katyani, Assistant Professor from Vasanta College for Women, BHU. We are going to study today Constructivist Approach. 21st century classroom today is filled with diverse group of learners. We have learners who differ in their psychological attributes like intelligence, interest, aptitude, personality, etc. Apart from differences of psychological attributes, there is diversity among learners based even on their socio-economic and cultural backgrounds and even learning styles. Addressing such diversity of learners is a challenge for any teacher. Moreover, the conventional teaching learning methods are a failure in addressing such diverse needs of the learners. Moreover, the traditional methods focus on delivering content, which is from the teacher-centered perspective. The sole purpose in traditional methods of teaching is to help learners to master facts, accomplishments, and relationships, which are inherent in a specific knowledge domain. The traditional methods, which are rooted in the behaviorist approach, mainly encourage students for rote learning, forced memorizations, and monotonous learning patterns, which are as such reproduced in the examination. And that is seen as the manifestation of learning. We can say that there is a very scope for learner for insightful learning in such a traditional method and to develop skills like problem solving and reflective thinking. So there is wide dissatisfaction with such traditional educational methods as they focus on rote memorization, regurgitation of facts, which have very little application in real life. And that led to the constructivist movement and the emergence of constructivism. Hence, a shift in teaching learning process was advocated from behaviorist pattern to the constructivist pattern that facilitates child as a constructor of knowledge and teacher not as a transmitter of knowledge but facilitator in the child's construction of knowledge. Now we'll talk about how the paradigm shift occurred from behaviorism to constructivism and what this paradigm shift is about. Behaviorism is mainly concerned with observable and measurable aspects of human behavior. The behaviorist approach, the learning in the behaviorist approach, is nothing but a modification in the learner's behavior, aiming for a reward. It is primarily thus concerned with observable behavior and the internal processes of cognitions and thinking of least importance. Behaviorist epistemology is basically targeting on intelligence, domains of objectives, levels of knowledge, and reinforcements. The student as an entity has a passive existence here who is imprisoned within the walls of the objective world. Whereas, according to the emerging philosophy of constructivism, learning is an internal process of interpretation rather than transmission of knowledge. Learners do not transfer knowledge from external world into their memories. Rather, learners construct their own knowledge based upon their past experiences and on the basis of interaction with the environment. Thus, we can say that behaviorism is based on assumption that knowledge is objective, universal, and complete, and it can be imparted from those who have it to those who do not have it. Whereas constructivism is based on assumption that knowledge is subjective in nature. It is not universal, it is contextual. It is inherently partial, never complete, and pluralistic in nature. Now we shall discuss first the history of constructivism, how constructivism learning theory developed. The roots of constructivism began with the developmental work of Jean Piaget. He is the founder of individual constructivism, and he strongly believed that learning is influenced by learners' developmental stages. And he talked of four developmental stages: the sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and the formal operational stages. Now, how the cognition and the cognitive development occur through these developmental stages. He talked about that. Further, he asserted that learning is an active process of construction rather than assimilation of knowledge. So, this picture depicts the Piaget learning theory. Basically, this revolves around four concepts: disequilibrium, equilibrium, assimilation, and accommodation. Piaget believed that we are driven or motivated to learn because whenever there is a new information, there is a disequilibrium in our cognition. There is a disequilibrium in our mind. And then in order to reach to the equilibrium, mental equilibrium again, we do the processes of accommodation and assimilation, and that is how we acquire or gain the new knowledge. So what is accommodation? Is the process by which whatever existing cognitive structure is there, we try to bring modification to it, change to it in order to fit in the new information. And assimilation is the process by which the external information, the external reality is fitted into our already existent cognitive structure, which he termed as schema. On the other hand, there is another psychologist, Vygotsky. Piaget and Vygotsky are the two pioneer psychologists in the concept of constructivism. Vygotsky, on the other hand, differing from Piaget, gave the socio-cultural context to the learning process. He believed that learning is primarily social in nature, which implies that learning occurs via interaction with other people. That could be interaction among the learners, among the peer group, or with the teacher. He gave the concept of scaffolding. His findings suggested that learning environment should involve guided instruction. As he gave the term scaffolding, guided instruction by the more knowledgeable person, which definitely is a teacher here, and that he denoted by the word MKO, the more knowledgeable other, and that leads to the enhancement or enrichment in the learning, which he denoted by ZPD, zone of proximal development. So basically his concept around the social learning vibe, in which he talks of guided instructions in the form of scaffolding by the mature person to the learner, and as a result the learning of the learner is enhanced, which denoted by ZPD, zone of proximal development. Thus, the Piaget and Vygotsky are the two pioneers in the constructivist theories. But they are also contrasted with each other, as Piaget is talking of individual cognitive constructivism, and Vygotsky constructivism is social, basically social in nature. Along with these two psychologists, the others like David Assuvel, Brunner, and Davy have also the significant role in the foundation of constructivist learning. So now we will try to give definition of constructivism. Constructivism, defined by Clark 1999, is a philosophy of learning founded on the premise that by reflecting on our experience, we construct our own understanding of the world we live in. Each of us generates our own rules and mental models, which we use to make sense of our experiences. Learning, therefore, is simply the process of adjusting our mental models to accommodate new experiences. Based on these definitions, we can say that constructivism believes that students construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiencing things and reflecting on those experiences. Constructivism is based on belief that learning occurs as learners are actively involved in the learning process. Now we shall talk about what are the characteristics of constructivist learning. So as we have defined just now and based on its definitions, we can say that constructivism says that learning is an active process. It says that knowledge is constructed and shaped by experience. Learners construct their own meaning, and in thus, learning is a personal interpretation of one individual of the world around. New learning is built on prior knowledge, and so the learner's previous knowledge, constructions, beliefs, and attitudes are important in the knowledge construction process. Learning is basically social in nature, thus it is enhanced by social interaction. Learning occurs not through seeing or hearing, but it is primarily through reflection and interpretation. Our interpretations are shaped by what we already know, our prior knowledge, and it is then developed through discussion. In summary, knowledge construction takes place in the learner in individual context. Each one of us make our own meaning and understanding of the world around us, and then it is progressed through social negotiations when we discuss, like with collaborations and experiences. Based on this constructivist learning, its characteristics, we will discuss now what does the constructivist teaching approach means or it talks about. The constructivist teaching thus believes that teaching is not merely transmitting knowledge. Rather, it is providing students with relevant experiences from which they can construct their own meaning. Successful teaching learning, therefore, requires learners to be actively involved in the process of meaning and knowledge construction. In constructivist teaching, the goals and objectives of teaching are derived by the student, or it is in negotiation with the student and the teacher. In constructivist teaching, the multiple perspectives and representations are presented of any concept and content. The multiple viewpoints are presented. The knowledge construction rather than knowledge reproduction is emphasized. Constructivist teaching is basically fostering critical thinking. The collaborative and cooperative learning is favored in constructivist teaching in order to expose the learner to alternate viewpoints. The emphasis given here is on conceptual interrelatedness and interdisciplinary learning. Problem solving and higher order thinking skills and deep understanding are emphasized. Scaffolding is facilitated in constructivist teaching in order to help students to perform beyond their limits of their ability. The learning situations, environments, contents, and tasks in constructivist teaching are presented relevant, realistic, and authentic in order to represent the natural complexities of the real world. The assessment here is authentic and it is interwoven with teaching. So the constructivist learning conditions are like embedded learning, teacher learning and social negotiation, through the self-awareness of the learner. And now we will talk about the constructivist classroom environment. There is a vast difference in the constructivist classroom environment from the traditional environment of the classroom. In the traditional environment, the teacher has the supreme power and he is considered as expert of knowledge, and it is duty to pour his knowledge which he knows into the to give it to the passive students. So the classroom environment is basically authoritarian there, dominated by the teacher who is the master and he knows everything and he has to give it to the students. Whereas in the constructivist classroom, the environment is primarily democratic in nature. The students are encouraged here to ask questions. Their ideas and their previous knowledge is respectfully invited and carefully listened in the democratic environment. In constructivist classroom, the student is the center of attention. The learning revolves around the student and it is the personal skills and level of the student that drive the lesson progression and contents. The learners are actively involved. The activities in the classroom are interactive and student-centered. The classroom is thus viewed as a community for discussion and exchange of ideas. The learners are provided opportunities to observe, to work, to explore, interact, raise questions and inquiry. They are given opportunities to discuss and share their ideas freely with each other, probing, doing experimenting, and other problem solving activities. Also, there is a paradigm shift in the role of teacher as well as student or learner in the constructivist learning and constructivist teaching. The students, as in the behaviorist approach, was expected to be very attentive, disciplined, and passive receiver of knowledge. Whereas in the constructivist learning, in the constructive learners it is a democratic environment, so the learners are given freedom to think, to question, to reflect, and to interact with ideas, objects, and others, and construct their own meaning. So there is a change in the concept of learner, which is considered as subject. It is called as learner is called as subject in the behaviorism, to the active participant in constructivism, where learner control their own learning. The role of teacher shifting from transmitter of knowledge to facilitator in the knowledge construction process. The student changes from knowledge gainer to knowledge constructor. Learner is the discoverer, and the learner himself is actively constructing his or her own knowledge and building his understanding. But it not totally dismisses the role of teacher. The teacher here role is to adapt to the learner's needs, and they encourage the learners to construct knowledge on their own themselves, rather than mechanically teacher imposing their knowledge upon their students. Constructivist teaching emphasizes and encourages activities like experimentation, research projects, field trips, films, discussions, etc. In experimentation, as we know, the students individually, they perform experiments, they come up with their observations and findings, and then that is discussed in the class. The results and findings are discussed. In research projects, students are given the situation to come up with a research topic where they do their individual study, collect data, and then present their findings. And these findings are also then further elaborated and discussed in the class. Field trips basically allow students to put their conceptual understanding and ideas which is being discussed in the class and related with the real life world, the real world context. Films provide visual context and thus another help in bringing sense into the learning experience. Then the class discussions. These class discussions encourage students to learn from each other. They learn with discussions with each other, and it also helps them to express and articulate their course content in their own words as when they discuss. There are various models of constructivist approach, and one such model is 5E model. In science teaching, this model is being widely used. We are going to discuss now, among all the models, we are going to discuss the 5E model of the constructivist approach. The 5E model, as the name suggests, have 5E in it, which is engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So, to discuss all these 5E now one by one. In engage, the engage means that the students are engaged and focused on the learning tasks. How they are engaged? By through asking questions, and then their attention is drawn. This is basically the process of motivating the learners to get engaged, to get focused into the learning task by which the learning will take place. Then explore. Explore means the giving opportunities to the learner to explore on their own through their senses with the help of hearing, seeing, feeling, and by doing activities. It involves providing students basically the concrete experiences, those concrete experiences with the help of which they will be able to develop the concepts on their own. Then they explain. Whatever is being explored in the previous step is being explained. And this explanation takes place basically through discussion among the peer group and also with the teacher. Then elaborate, which means extending the students' conceptual knowledge, understanding, making it connection with the other interrelated concepts, and also making it related with the everyday life, real life situations. So it could be through examples or through with different activities, and that is how the concept is being explained, and then it is elaborated to make it understanding in real life situations. Then the evaluation. In evaluation is to encourage learners to assess their understanding and abilities. The teacher here sees whether the students have attained the understanding of concepts and knowledge which was planned, which the objectives was there. Constructivism in science education. In science teaching, constructivism is very important and it holds wide future prospects. Until recently, the traditional methods of science teaching have been basically used. And it was basically mainly focusing on acquiring of scientific knowledge. But now there is a shift in science as science as an approach of investigation. It is a process of constructing scientific knowledge rather than acquiring scientific knowledge. So it mainly the concerns of how we approach the problem is more important than what. So previously, as the project approach of science focused on the formulas, facts and theories of the science, the processes approach focuses on the processes of science like experimentation, observation, drawing conclusions, predictions, and these processes, that is how the students are able to know the world, the processes by which they will be able to know the science on their own. So there is a shift in concept of science from a body of knowledge, which is the product approach, to the process aspect of science. The conventional teaching learning methods of science are definitely not helpful in developing the true knowledge of science and the understanding of science. It is mainly focusing on rote memorization and learning of facts, and thus it fails to develop the problem solving abilities, critical thinking, reflective thinking, which are the key skills needed for science learning. On the other hand, the constructivism as approach encourages learners to question, to reflect, to explore, to discover on their own, and they make the conceptual understanding on their own. They make their own meanings by the active meaning making process. So definitely constructivism is helpful in the learning of science. Today, in the true sense, it really helps in learning of science in its real sense, and that is not just acquiring of scientific knowledge, but construction of scientific knowledge, not just acquiring of scientific knowledge of scientific facts as a body of knowledge, but the processes of science, knowing the processes of science by way of which the science can be understood, the concepts can be understood. So that was all about we studied today, that constructivism, how constructivism is a paradigm shift from behaviorism which mainly focused seeing the world as an objective reality and considered knowledge as a whole, and the student was considered as a passive recipient. In the constructivism, the knowledge is considered as not whole but inherently partial in nature. Constructivism talks that knowledge is contextual in nature, and knowledge it basically focuses that knowledge can be, talks of construction of knowledge, and based upon the previous knowledge of the learner and on the basis of social interaction. It drastically changes our classroom environment. In the traditional method where there is authoritarian, the classroom environment constructivism changes to a democratic environment where the learners are given chance to explore, to learn, to discover, and make meanings and understanding on their own based on the discussions and the social interactions and explorations. The role of teacher drastically changes from a transmitter of knowledge to a co-constructor of knowledge. The teacher serves as a facilitator, and the student becomes the center of attention, and the student is not just a subject as a passive who's passively receiving information, but is actively constructing one's own meanings and one's own understanding. Then we talked about the 5E model, which is being widely used in the constructivist approach in the science teaching. Constructivism as an approach is highly helpful in science education, as today the focus of science teaching is not just on the products, the facts, the formulas and theories of science, but it is focusing on the process aspects of science, like what are the processes of science which helps the learner to come to derive to the scientific facts and formulas and theories. So in that shift in the science concept of science, it is constructivism which helps the learner to develop those process skills of problem solving abilities and critical thinking, which are important in the learning of science. So that was all about our discussion today. Thanks for being a patient listener, and if you have any queries, you are most welcome to ask, and you can do that by putting your comments in the comment box. Thanks again.